Fishing clear water can be challenging. It can also be fun. When it gets challenging, two of the best things you can do is downsize and use natural colors. We're gonna do that today. We're going fishing. We're glad you're here. Welcome to the show.
We're now south of 55. We're gonna take a little scenic drive down Interstate 49. We're just looking for a good time. Better find
There he is. Yeah, there's a bunch back in here. There's a bunch back in here. Get in here. Not real big, but see if we can do this again. I saw 2 or 3 other fish with him. See if I can get that hook out of there and throw right back in there. That's fun when that happens. That stuff still gets me excited. When you see 2 or 3 fish like that, and you can throw back to them and see maybe if you can just get the whole school going, that's fun. But yeah, I saw him, he hit it, and then there's another couple more with him. There he is right there. There he is right there. Good one too. Right there. Oh, is that cool? Is that fun? This is when spot lock really comes into play because I can stay off. There's a bunch of school fish out here. We're actually, the boat's in 21 foot of water right now, and we're throwing up to a shallower break. And cool. That's fun. That's fun. Let's just see how many's over there. Because if there's another one over there, we may hit the jackpot here. So let's see what we got. That is so cool in that clear water like that. Oh my goodness. They are strong. I don't care what anybody says, even when you got cold water like this, these fish are strong. These are some of the males. I know we're gonna come into an area where we get some of the bigger fish, but very cool. That's a decent fish right there. Been fishing that new red line hook from VMC, and just about every hook seems to be just like this. One thing I've really noticed about this hook is because of that coating, there's a coating on the hook. Let me put this fish back and I'll show you. There is a coating on this hook, and it goes in about 50% quicker than an average hook. And this has become my favorite wacky worm hook, and this is a 1.0 Nico hook. Nico style. Obviously you can use it Nico rigging and wacky worming, but it's got a 2-degree turn off on that hook, and so when you set the hook, even with a slight pullback, the hook has a tendency to rotate, so your hooking percentage is a lot better. It's a very well designed hook, and this small little hook right here, just putting that on that 5-inch sink worm from Lure Parts Online, and it seems to be doing the trick. It's on one of my favorite techniques, especially in really clear water, is wacky worm. And one, a lot of times it can be visual, but 2, it's just one of those baits that always does something different. So every time that you just let it do its thing, just let it fall, it's always going to be doing something different, twitching that rod, letting that bait fold. So basically that bait is just going to fold and come back out, and because both ends are tapered differently, it's going to fall a little different every time. It's got a totally random movement. I've been fishing this bait, the wacky worm, probably since the late 90s. It was effective then. It's effective now. It's one of those baits, just in my mind, that fish really never, ever get used to.
Well, plastic seems to be the theme of the day, but I did switch up. Oh man, still coming off of this this little weed line. If you're staying close to the weed line today, I think that's the trick.
There you go, good one. Yeah, that's what it definitely seems to be. We got to stay close to that weed edge.
Yeah.
We got to stay close to that weed edge. Nice.
Yeah, he hit on a little Ned rig.
There you go. This is definitely a great 1-2 punch we got going today. Between Kirk throwing that Ned rig and me throwing the wacky, this water is so clear that, and it's cold. It's clear and cold. There's no doubt about that. So a lot of times when you're faced with those conditions, very nice. when you're faced with those conditions, when it's clear and cold, man, the red line went right in there. There you go. When you're faced with those conditions, slowing down and downsizing is always one of your best choices. We've both got 8-pound leaders on today, 8-pound fluorocarbon leaders on, and in this really clear water, when it's this cold and the bite is tough, throwing a wacky worm, throwing a Ned rig, things like that are always going to put more of the odds in your favor. They're definitely putting more of them in ours. Nice there. Man, we got back in this bay, and come here. Oh, good one there. There's another one following him, and there's a bunch of crappies back here. This is the warmest water we found, and that red line really got him good. So far, this is what we're finding. Nice fish there. Well, what we're finding is now we're getting back into some of these bays. The water temperature is definitely warming up, and now we're finding bass and crappies back here, and I think the crappies are getting ready to spawn, and the bass are just waiting on the edges out here for them, and we're intercepting with these wacky worms. This is cool. This is cool.
This segment of Jim Crowley Outdoors is brought to you by these and other fine sponsors.
Plastics are doing it, man. Took it right off that grass line there.
They have been sticking close to the grass line. That's a better fish, dude.
Right on the edge of that.
Good job.
Look at that. Look at that fish.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Awesome.
He is a good one.
There you go.
He's a good one.
That's what we're looking for. That water temperature's starting to warm up.
Yeah. I knew he'd be good when he started pulling my drag right off the bat. Oh, they are strong here.
There you go. Well done.
Go.
That's what we're looking for.
No kidding. He's a good one.
That's what we're looking for. Nicely done.
Yeah.
That is cool. That is so cool. They are just eating that little jackum jig. Come here. Yeah. This is, show you this before. Probably haven't showed you this before. This is a little jig. I'm actually proud of this thing. I help do this for Lure Parts Online, and this is a little jackum jig. This is what we use for a Ned rig all the time. And let me put this pretty guy there. Okay, this is a neat little jig right here, and this is what we call the jackum jig. It's made with a VMC vanadium steel hook, and it's got a really neat little bend in it. First of all, we did it for Ned rigging and for smallmouth because it really locks the smallmouth good. No question, it's locking the largemouth on there as well. And I'm just using that little D, little green punk, little D. Doesn't get too much simpler than that. Again, when times are tough and the water's really clear and it's cold, you can't beat green punkin. You definitely can't beat that little D.
Well, another one on the Ned rig. We did, plastics are the thing to do today. Oh, look at him, Jimmy. Look at him.
All right. Well done, buddy. There you go. We were saying that the two best things when it's tough and cold and clear water for us have been a Ned rig and a Wacky, and it's paying off today.
That's for sure. Yeah, nice one. We're having too much fun today.
They are biting good today.
They are.
Look how close that fish was to that weed line again, dude.
Exactly.
Unbelievable. If you're not on the edge of that weed line today, it's not happening. You've got to be right there. And you wouldn't think on that little Ned rig they could see, or Wacky they could, but they're all over it. There you go. Well done.
Yeah, another decent one.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
Stay down, stay down, stay down. Oh goodness. Oh man, is that fun. That thing hit that thing so hard. Come here, you. Get in here. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. I am impressed with that red line hook. That was barely a hook set on that, and it went right in there. Get out of there. Perfect. Yeah, these fish are just starting to come back, and these are still pre-spawn fish. They're not quite locked on the beds yet, But what we're doing, you can see what's around here. You've got very clear water. You've got grass that is just starting to grow up, and there's some wood in this water. And that's what most of these fish are being attracted to. It's warmer back here. You've got some of that grass. You can see some of the beds that they're making, gravel and sand right there. And then there's wood laying down there. And what we're doing is throwing that Ned rig in the deeper part of these coves or these creeks. That's where those fish are coming from. And the wackies right now are right on the end of that timber. Again, what we feel is happening is that water temperature is warming up and those fish are starting to move up. And right now it's a 1-2 punch. Ned rig on a 1/32 ounce head and a wacky worm on a 1/16 ounce weight, because we're dealing with some wind. And this is working. Nice fish. Look at him. God, is he strong. Holy goodness. This guy must have had his Wheaties. He is a strong old fish. You just ate that wacky, didn't you? Goodness gracious. The way you hit that thing, I thought you were 3 pounds heavier, but I will take you any day of the week. Yeah. God, look at that, how that hook just goes through there. That is so awesome. I love that hook. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Yeah. Oh, I could do that. I could do that all day long. See ya.
They're all nice today.
Yeah. Well done. There you go.
They're liking the plastics today, aren't they? Need to get some more to eat.
Just doing what we said and going through the canal with the Ned rig again. Man, look at this one. Wait till you see the size of this one. Oh my goodness, look at this fish here. Look at this fish here. Oh goodness. That little Ned rig can be so deadly. That little D is one deadly little bait. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Come here, you beautiful thing. Is this cool? Is this cool? Come here, you. Come here, you. Look at that, man. That's a jack-em jig. That is, look at that. Get out of there. Wow. What an incredible bass that is. Hey, I gotta tell you, we're gonna take a picture of this. We'll be back. Look at that, right after this.
This segment of Jim Crowley Outdoors is brought to you by these and other fine sponsors.
Oh man, that was fun. So now she's up on that nest and that little Ned rig. Go ahead, honey, get back there. That's cool. Oh man, that was awesome. Check this out. So that little jack-em jig has caught me some big fish, and all it is 1/32 ounce, and I've got a little D on the back of it, and that bait right there, when it's tough. And these fish, there's some on the beds, some getting ready to go on the beds, some aren't interested. As soon as you throw in the shallows, they disappear. But when you drop down and drop to a smaller bait and clear the water like that, that just proved it. That works for me. I guarantee it's gonna work for you. Whoa. Man, are they strong in here. This is crazy. So much good weed growth in this lake here that, same thing. Wow, man, is he beat up? Look at this. This fish is definitely done spawning. It definitely got beat up, but still a pretty one. Get that red line out of there. Yeah, but goodness, man, something took, it looks like a big snapping turtle or something, took a chunk out of him. But there you go. Put you back. Yeah, and said this is just a very strange situation. I haven't encountered this in a real long time, where you're in a body of water where you've got some fish spawning and some not spawning. I mean, I've come across it before, but not like this, where they're hoarding crappies and bluegills in the areas. And most of the time, all we're sticking with is a green pumpkin sinkworm from Lure Parts Online. Either green pumpkin or this one is a green pumpkin purple. And apparently that's close enough to the bluegills that they're feeding on, because when you get that on that weed edge, as we've been telling you, we're just going going back and forth between the Wacky worm and the Ned rig, and it's definitely paying off. I want to show you exactly how I'm working this Wacky worm. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're fishing a Wacky is they overwork it. Now I've got that 1/16 ounce weight on there, and if you notice, I'm keeping just a little bit of a bow in my line, and my rod position is basically between that 1 and 2 o'clock, and all I'm doing is, as that thing is sinking, I'm barely just moving that rod tip. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm making that worm flex. As it flexes and comes back out, it falls a different way every time, and I want that as a very subtle movement. They're not taking it fast. You can't work this thing really fast. I'm letting it just fall and sink, and that's when we're getting most of the strikes. Is you'll shake it and then you'll stop, you go to pick up again, and all of a sudden there's weight and the fish is swimming with it. So I think one of the best keys that you can remember when you're fishing a Wacky worm is just don't do it fast. It's not a fast technique. Take your time, let it do what it does best, and that's fall. Every once in a while, as you can see, my finger is always on the blank. All I'm going to do is I'm going to sit there and shake it. That's going to make that worm flex back and forth. I let it sink again, go back and repeat that and do that again. A lot of times, the slower you do that, sometimes the bigger the bite.
Oh man, and we had 2 of them swimming right there, and I put it right in front of the one. It came up, grabbed it. Take a look at this, Jim.
Cool. Well done. There you go. Yeah. Nice.
You saw the whole thing. These polarized glasses from Fish 419, they really cut the glare. I saw this whole thing, saw the whole strike. It was great. Oh man. I don't even know what to say, Jim. It was an amazing day.
What a day, man. What a day.
Look at this fish. Look at this beautiful fish. Oh, there you go.
There you go, man. Awesome.
Nice one. This is beautiful today. Let's put her back.
Well done, dude. As always, I wanted to talk to you about the tackle that we use today. And the spinning rod I built, as usual, is an American Tackle Bushido blank, and it's an MB68 10-17. This is a perfect rod for me for Wacky worming. It's also really great when I skip Wacky worms, but this is a perfect length for this. I've also got the compressed carbon fiber handle on here, and since we were in clear water, I always make sure all the spinning rods I build with the microwave guide system, but especially in clear water, that is essential. It helps me make longer casts with less effort. And today, with as clear as that water was, you need to stay off the fish. We sure did, and that made a big difference. Now, the reel that I'm using is a Cast King Speed Demon Elite. This is a 7:4-to-1 gear ratio. It's an incredible reel, and I bought it specifically because I wanted it for throwing jerkbaits and for throwing Wacky worms. Now, this has got 10+1 ball bearings in it, and it's got almost 17 pounds of drag pressure in it. You want a great spinning reel, this is it. This is the reel that I use probably the most of all my spinning reels because I use it for several different things. But this weighs in at about, I think, around 8.4 ounces. This is a workhorse, but when it comes to skipping baits or for fishing a Wacky worm, I honestly don't think there's a better spinning reel for it than the Speed Demon Elite. Now I've got it loaded with 10-pound Suffix 832 like I do on all my spinning reels, and then I have an 8-pound Suffix fluorocarbon leader, and they're tied with an Albright knot. Now, the Wacky worm part of it today was really simple. I'm using a 1.0 VMC redline hook, weedless one, and as you saw, a lot of these fish were hooked extremely well. With that coating on that redline hook, it goes in with about half the effort. Really impressive, and a lot of hooks I noticed were farther back in the fish's face. Why? You've got a 2-degree turn on here, so when that hook rotates, it catches farther back in that fish's face. A great hook. What I did today, and VMC also makes a weighted Wacky jig, but I really like this Nico style hook, which this is. So I take a little 1/16 ounce VMC tungsten weight. I put a little bobber stop on there, and that allows that worm to shake a little bit more on the fall. It also allows me to fish the worm deeper, and in some cases, it also lets me cast the worm a little bit farther, which is also a benefit, as I said, in clear water. I want to show you how I rig up my Wacky worm, and I've had a lot more positive hook sets on a Wacky worm since I started using the VMC crossover pliers. Now the pliers come with 2 compartments one on either side of the pliers. Close that up. And the rings come in different sizes, just so you can see that that is the ring. And like I said, they do come in different sizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that over the crossover pliers. I'm going to open that up. I'm now going to slide my worm inside there, get it to where I want it, pull that off. And now I have that ring on there. The cool thing about this ring is you can rig it this way. If you're going to throw an eco rig, you can also rig it this way, like I've been doing for the Wacky worm. So I simply take the point of the hook and I stick it through the slot provided, just like so. And now the nice thing about this is now the hook stays away from the plastic. I'm sure all of you have had it happen when you set the hook on a Wacky and the hook goes back into the plastic. That doesn't happen hardly at all using this VMC crossover ring. This is just a great little way to have a lot more hookups, both Nico rigging and Wacky rigging. Just gonna play her out here. There we go. Oh yeah, come here. Come here. Come here. Yeah, there you go. And I popped the worm out. Look at that. I'll tell you what a beautiful fish that is. God blessed us with an incredible day today. That's just a beautiful fish right there. You know, we've never come across this scenario before where we found so many crappies bedding and then the largemouth are back there chasing them. So we stayed on the edges out there, on the edges with a Wacky worm, and then down in the canal, so to speak, in the bottom with a Ned rig, and it really paid off today. What a cool scenario. In all these years, I've never come across one like that. And if you do, hopefully this will be something you can do. Because as I said, God bless us with a wonderful day. I hope He does exactly the same for you on your next fishing trip. Until next time, God bless you. I'm Jim Crowley. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.